I could not hold this from y'all any longer. I had no idea that they were gonna post. So I was gonna like prep this a little more. I was gonna have this video ready for you. I was gonna make sure that it was like legal for me to do. I had my lawyer like look at my contract to see if I could actually say anything. So super excited to talk to y'all. It's me, your girl Rizzo from Rizzo with Love. And I'm gonna tell you how I got a Lifetime's Married at First Sight kickoff special. From my couch to their couch. Let's go. Okay, so for the true blues who've been following me, you guys know that I actually started this other page because I got into a car accident. My lawyer was like, yo, shut your page down because if they see you doing anything, they're gonna be like, yo, she's not really injured or something. And I'm like, but I'm actually injured. So I'm not gonna be like out on the town, but doesn't matter. He was like, yeah, now shut all your pages down. So I had to make my personal page, which was my only page at that time, private. And I was like, I don't like that because I used to do things for my birthday with my friends where we would reenact funny videos. Like I would get my friends out of their box to reenact funny videos. I'm gonna post a couple here so y'all can see what it is. And I was like, nah, these are hilarious. The world needs to see these videos. I don't like that this is private. So I was like, yo, let me create a whole nother page that's just gonna be dedicated to all my like funny videos. So I started that. I called it the BD Connect, which was my birthday connect because I would drop 13 videos to count down to my birthday. So I was, like I said, I was in a car accident, so I was on medical leave. I couldn't really walk too much. I couldn't sit down too long. I was like lying in my bed, lying on my couch. I couldn't do too much. And it was summer in New York. So all of my friends were like out and about. And it was just super stressful and I could do nothing but sit at home and watch TV. I say, you know what? I really like Married at First Sight. Oh, let me, real quickly. So my friend was on The Bachelorette, and so I decided to recap her series just because I wanted to make sure like she could get some traction because I knew, you know, a lot of us don't really watch The Bachelor, but I was like, yo, we got a black bachelorette. Like, let me make sure I big her up and give her some more shine. So I did a recap for that using like all these Snapchat filters. Y'all, I look back at that and I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, talk about growth. So I did those quickly for her season, and then I had been used to like doing video recaps, but it was very small. And so when I was watching Married at First Sight, I was like, yo, none of my friends watch this show. I'm home alone. I have no one to talk to. Let me just film my recaps like I did for The Bachelorette while I watch this show. And so I did a little more than halfway in season 9, I started filming my recaps. That was the Charlotte one, I think. Yeah, Keith and Iris. So boom, I started doing those. And then that decision day hits and I'm like a little more, you know, feeling a little better. I tell this story often, but like if you go back to my old ones, you can actually see me with my back brace on. If you look really closely, I tried to hide it, but there's some videos with me in a pink shirt, but you can see it on. Anyway, so boom, season 10 comes, that's DC. This was when my page was super small, right? So whenever I would get followers, I would click and be like, who are you? How'd you find me? You know what I'm saying? Not ask them this, but I would look into it. I started to notice one person who worked for Married at First Sight followed my page. So then maybe by season 11, one of them actually writes me and it's just like, you know, your videos are so great. We like how you kind of talk to production in the middle of it, and we like how you do it in like a, you know, a nice way without bashing these participants. Essentially, you give like true, real reactions because no one else is doing that, right? There's a ton of other reviews and recaps, but nobody does what I do, and that's recap the show while they watch. And there have been so many times I've had friends like hit me and I would tell them how long this takes because honestly it takes up a lot of my time, and like people didn't understand that because, mind you, this is a 2-hour show. I split it in half, so it's a 1-hour show, but as I record, I stop and talk at some points. So instead of it taking an hour for me to record, it usually takes me an hour 30, an hour 40. Multiply that by 2, I'm almost at 3 hours, 3 hours and 15, 20, just to watch and record. Now, the BS of all of this is the editing. Now, the editing would take me like 6 hours each. I found a way to trim it down to probably like, actually, it used to take me like 8 hours. I found a way to trim it down to probably like 4 or 5-ish. So again, that's another 10 hours right? So I got my 3. I had 13 hours for 1 2-hour episode. People don't understand that. And I've had so many people like, oh, you need to stop. Mind you, friends like, oh, you need to stop. Why don't you just watch and review? And I'm like, look, no, because there's so many other people out there who watch and review. There's no one who does what I do. And what I do is great. No one wants to put in this extra time of 13 hours when they can put in 20, 30, 40 or an hour, right? But I know what I do is great. My sauce is only my sauce and it's hitting. So I'm going to continue to do that. I never had the goal of like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to be on Lifetimes, blah, blah, blah. But as I started doing it, it was something that I enjoyed. And I'd always seen those little things like find something you love, find something that you're passionate about, find something that makes money. And hopefully one day all of those can meet in the middle and it can like, you'll have your essentially like dream job type thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to compromise what I enjoy. Right now, this ain't making me no money, but it's something that I'm passionate about and I enjoy doing. And I enjoy making people smile, laugh, relate to me. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy these type of moments. So I'm going to keep doing it my way. So then, next seasons, I started seeing other people recapping the show. And I said, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to continue to do what I do because it makes me smile. And while work isn't bringing me much joy, this is bringing me immense levels of joy. So I'm just going to continue it. And mind you, I come from a career where I was very analytical because it was something that I was good at. And a lot of times it's the only way that we can actually break in because nobody can really dispute numbers, right? So that's how I got into kind of the sports and entertainment field. And I had always been told, you're not creative, you're the analytical side of things. And we need people like you. And I'm like, that like suppressed my creativity because I was like, oh, I'm not creative. So I never thought to do anything like this. Even though people are like, you're so dynamic, your personality is great. I suppressed that because of that. So this is why I always stress to people, like I always say, don't wait for your accident for you to actually pursue something that you're passionate about or to find your passion or to like do something that actually pushes you outside of your box. So seasons pass again and again, because I think this is season 12, I'm like, all right, let's create some goals because this is taking up immense level of time. I saw a live with, I want to say her name is like actually Ashley. So curly hair influencer who I've been following for a while. And I saw her live and I said to her, how long did it take for you to make it? And she was like, there's different levels and like what making it is and da-da-da. But I would say it took me 3 years. I looked up someone else and I was like, let me see the steps for this business. Oh, it took them 3 years to become profitable. Let me see how long it takes you to X, Y, and Z to make a product, to build it, to test it, to get it out in market. Oh, it takes 3 years. And what's crazy about this is whenever I do panels, because I'm very involved in my high school and this preparatory program that I was in called Prep for Prep. So I go back and do panels and I speak to kids. I bring kids in for like mentoring. I do a lot like that. Every time I get on these panels, I always say, it takes 3 years to change 3 generations of your life. Literally, you get in, you've seen you piss things away, but you put in work, freshman, sophomore, and junior year, you can get into a great college that can propel you to go anywhere you want in life. 3 years. In the grand scheme of your life, 3 years ain't it. But you know what? You putting in work for 3 years changes your life, your generation. You can now pay for things for your parents, that generation, and you can save and invest and become financially savvy and financially stable where you can now create a different life for your children. It takes you 3 years to change 3 generations. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm gonna get back. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put 3 years into this. If something doesn't come out of this, whether it be opportunity, growth, or a check, that's it. I'm giving myself 3 years. And I created follower goals and I killed them. Every goal that I had set, I secured. And even this 3,000 number that I just hit, I was like, damn, y'all. I'm saying I'm gonna triple where I am today. Like, that's a lot. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep it. And I hit that shit like 8 months early. And so here I am at year 2.5. Well, I'm almost at 2.5, but here I'm at year 2, season 13, which was the season that we just saw. And I start seeing all these cast members following me from this current season, right? And I get more people from production to follow me, and I'm like, I wonder who told them. I wonder what's going on. So I'm thinking it's the producer from, you know, a while back. And so I'm like, well, this is great. Like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's doing what it needs to do. This is great. Now these cast members will tell the next cast, will tell the next cast, and tell the next cast. And it'll just help me gain more followers and hit my follower goals. Because remember, my goals that I set were only to make it in 3 years, to make something of this in 3 years. It was never to get on TV. So here we are on season 13. I post a video. One of the cast members hits me up or DMs me, who follows me, about something that I said on the video. And now, you know, they're not really supposed to interact with folks until the season ends, but sometimes you'll see them like reply on social media. But we start going a little back and forth about a comment that I made. We have a little conversation, boom, and it ends. Swear to everything. 2 days later, maybe even 1 day later, I get a DM from one of the producers I told you, who was one of the first people to follow me. And all her DM says is, hey, can you talk? And you know me. When I hear can you talk, I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. Like, we breaking up. Like, what's going on? So do you know, she's like, send me some times that you're available. So I'm like, oh, shit. It's because she found out that I was talking to that cast member. This is ruined. Mind you, I ain't got no contract, so it ain't ruined with me. But in my mind, I'm like, damn, I don't want to get that person in trouble. So I send her, I'm available today, probably in an hour, because this is during work, and I have another meeting. And then I give her 2 other times I'm available on Tuesday and Wednesday. As I write her that, I immediately send the person a DM, and I said, yo, did you tell her that we talked? Because I'm a deny. I don't want to get you in trouble. I know there's like contractual stipulations, like all of this shit. I know how NDAs work. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna get this man in trouble. But I said, if you don't reply back and tell me that you told her, when I get on the phone, I'm gonna just act like I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all, this person does not reply back to me. But I check, and the producer immediately replies, and she says, actually, let's talk now. And I said, oh my God, I'm gonna have to sit up here. All right, here goes. All of that jokey joke is over now. They about to find you. They can't find me. It's my personal page. I don't know what I was thinking. Y'all, I get on the phone with her, and Shorty's just like, hey, you're great. This is the first time we ever spoke. Hey, you're great, blah, blah, blah. Essentially, oh, I don't know if you've seen our specials that we do. You probably haven't watched them, but, and in this moment, I'm like, oh, okay, this is all right. So it's not about that. She wants me to recap the specials. Like, I can do that. The only specials that I watch are the matchmaking and the one that they do in the middle. Because they started recently adding on some new ones, like a Decision Day one. Even though I saw a Decision Day one with like Miles and I think Woody, Miles and Imani and Woody, Miles and Karen and Woody and Imani, like backstage. I feel like I saw something like that. But like, there's been so many spinoffs, I haven't watched those. So I'm like, oh, she's asking me to do recaps for them. I'm like, sure, okay. Y'all, and then right then and there, she's like, I don't know if you've seen them, but would you be interested in being on one? And I said, would I be interested in? You know, I'm sitting down talking. As she says that, I stand up and I'm starting to like pace around my house. Remember, I'm moving at this point. So there's boxes everywhere. My place is damn near empty. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was like, yes, you know, just grateful. And I'm like, I'm so grateful for this. I can't wait to meet you, because I have like interacted with her as it relates to my pages, my posts and stuff, nothing serious. And I'm like, this is great. And legit, y'all, that's how it happened. Shorty sent me a DM because I kept working on my craft, y'all. That's it. When they had a blank spot, they had an opening, who did she think of but the person who was consistently on her feed, that made sure to never make anyone forget. I mean, I was there every 2 days with a recap. Then I added another one, so that's a 3rd day. There's 7 days in a week. Sometimes I would add little clips from the major recap and put them on there. I was making sure I was always in someone's face. And that someone included her and production. And that shit paid off. And now, what I will say is, I found out about this in a very short time period. So in my mind, I'm like, I probably wasn't first choice. But guess what? I'm here and I got on. And I made sure that when I got on, I took full advantage of this opportunity. Okay, first of all, after that moment, then I had a virtual Zoom call with one of the executive producers. And I'm like, okay, I'm interested, but this is probably essentially an interview. Like, that executive producer probably has no idea who I am. That producer that I spoke to probably bigged me up, but she doesn't know if I'm dynamic enough to be on camera. And so, you know, for me, because I've seen the show and I'm actually a fan, really I came in on some like, well, what can and can't I wear? Like, I've gone to a lot of live tapings of shows, so I knew, you know, polka dots aren't really good, white is not good, black is good, not good. You know what I'm saying? Like, stripes sometimes get people, so I knew that. But I was like, what can I wear? Because I noticed all the women had long sleeves on the last one. Like, you know what I'm saying? My concern was how I'm gonna look. Because, you know, when they say stay ready so you don't gotta get ready, I wasn't ready. And everything I got is in a box. So yeah. So she gets on and she talks to me and I can tell she's trying to like get a feel of how I am. I guess I'm not this like always this exciting type person that you may see on my recaps. So I came into this very much so like it was a business meeting and an interview. And I made sure to put my, you know, kind of best foot forward. Well, they asked me something about people this season. And she was like, oh yeah, how do you feel about that? And I was like, heard you, sis. I know you're trying to see me talk about them because you want to see how I would be on the spot with questions. Deliver. And then at the end of it was very short. At the end, she was like to the other producer, like, hey, can you stay on so I can talk? And it was like, all right, bye, Donna. And then I was like, I made a comment that you should never make. I was like, oh, y'all gonna sit here and talk about me? And she was like, no, after meeting you, I feel very confident. And I was like, so anyway, so after that, the original conversation, I have a meeting right after and I'm like, oh no, I have a couple minutes in between. And so y'all, I just get up and I start pacing around my room. I go to my bed, I lay down, I start turning music on. And y'all know I've made this comment before that I dance in my mirror. I swear to God, there was a level of energy that was in me that I've never had before. Like, I feel like I could have like deadlifted 600 pounds. That's how free my body felt in the moment. It was like, you know how they say like when moms get in car accidents, how they could like lift a car up to save their child? That is how I felt. And in crazy news, my sister hit me up. I want to say either August 23rd or September 23rd, something. She was like, yo, I wrote on my calendar years ago that this would be a big day for you. And so if you're getting married or if you win the lottery, like, can you please let me know? And I was like, damn sis, your intuition is off. So when this happened, I hit her up. I texted her and I said, hey, your shit's kind of right. I'm not getting married, but something is happening that's positive for me in regards to marriage. So she starts going in like, oh, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? I think at the end of the day, she thought, I'm actually post her message. She thought that I was going to be on Love is Blind. And I was like, because I told her, I was like, I can't tell you. So I think she ended that text conversation and thought I was going to be on Love is Blind or like be on Married at First Sight. But let me tell you, I do not play. This opportunity here, I will not ruin it. So I was like, oh, NDA? I can't tell anybody? Nobody. My mother got mad at me when she found out. I know you watching. Hi, Miss Linda. She was like, oh, did you know? I was like, of course I knew about this. Like, of course I knew about this. And no, I couldn't tell you. I was gonna go see her on Christmas and then like show her the picture, but it came out a little earlier. Okay, some little details. I'll give you some behind the scenes to like prep for it. I can't say too much. This is probably like 85 minutes already. They had me send different outfit looks. Y'all, I ordered mad outfits. I was like, give me a reason to order stuff. I ordered mad outfits. And I'm like, oh, I'll just order these and return them. I ain't return shit, y'all. I just got mad outfits. Then, as you guys know, this is the kickoff special. The kickoff special, I didn't even realize this in the moment. Like, I'm not even thinking. My light's going. The kickoff special is when they bring in past participants to come and talk. So everybody else on set, they are actual journalists, right? So we have Emily Longaretta, who's a writer, editor, videographer. Not videographer, I don't know why I said that. She does video interviews on for Us Weekly. Then we got Angelique Jackson, who is a journalist for Variety. Nicole Haynes, who's currently a VP of sales for Ebony, but is like no stranger to the camera. Like, she was a sports anchor. She's a badass athlete, like on camera shit is her thing, right? And then there's me, vlogger from Harlem, New York. you know? So I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking they were asking me to send my questions ahead of time to make sure that I can essentially hang with these ladies. And I did. Like I'm telling y'all, when you get this opportunity, you better show the fuck up, okay? Now, let's move on to me getting flued out. So I get to this hotel. Let me just pause there. What's also interesting is my last trip to LA, I stayed at a hotel directly across the streets. I've been to LA a few times, so that was normal for me. But when I pulled up, I was like, look at that. I literally can see where I was and where I am today. Come on, metaphor. Anyway, so I walk in the hotel. Shorty's like, you ever stay with us? I'm like, no. She's like, okay. Them put me in the back, the top floor, in the back, while they replacing somebody's fridge. Like, I could tell it was the dusty room for the first timer because they didn't think I was about anything. I get it. Anyway, walk in and I'm like, look at this room. King size bed, deluxe suite, a couch, a little kitchen, mad room for activities. And I walk in and I'm like, look at this. And I think in this moment, this is when imposter syndrome shows up. Because all the talent is here or at this other hotel. And here I am. Y'all get me this big ass room for little old me. But let me tell you one thing, I didn't feel that shit one bit. This is when it's supposed to kick in, and it never did, because this is where I'm supposed to be. I am truly walking in my purpose. And yes, if you were doing this for the other journalists and for the other cast members, I equally deserve the exact same thing. So boom, they give me my call time the very next day. Hair and makeup. I'm like, I don't need hair. You know, I don't know who could like touch my hair and mess with it. Yeah, this is the hair that I sent them that I would do. But this is the hair that actually came out. You know why? Because that's the original photo. That's 2-3 day old hair. But I had to get on a plane for 5.5 hours. So my hair flattened. So the next day I had to wash my hair before our call time, which was at like 7:30. And it was 1 day old hair that I tried to spruce up to make it look fuller. And so it didn't even stand up. It didn't give me what it was supposed to give. So here's where we ended. But the makeup, that makeup hit. Somebody hit me up and was like, oh, I'm gonna try to watch you on the 30th and not try to like look for filters. And I was like, sis, the way they set that makeup up, I have a permanent filter on. So we walk in and I see that me and Nicole are sharing a dressing room. Nicole don't notice, but I looked all these other women up because I'm like, I wanna see who I'm talking to now. You know, I wanna know a little more about them. It's kind of like when I freaking interview, you know what I'm saying? I make sure I look the other person up to figure out a common tie. And so I was like, oh, she's West Indian. She's a track athlete. Like, oh, we lit. We good. Okay, let's break this. So she comes in. I'm 5'2", little thingy thing. She probably 6'2", slim. Her body still look banging. And I'm like, hey, girl. She said something, and I was like, oh, yeah, I looked you up. Also something you should not do. I also want to point out that my call time was at 7:30, and I was on time. And that's something that I've never done in my entire life. But let me tell you how God will make you show up when it's time to show up. So I come in, so the producer sees my dresses and she picks 4 and she's like, bring all 4. When she sees them, she's like, clearly that one, like the one that I wore. And I was like, we know this is gonna be the one, but I brought them all. I'm in my dress, they mic me up. I forget that the mics are on. Shorty goes to pee and that dress is tight as everything. So I'm over there like, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, oh my God, this mic man is probably hearing me make all these sounds in the bathroom, followed by a stream of pee. I'm so embarrassed. I make a comment to him and he's like, no, we don't listen. And in my mind, I'm like, that's not true because I know when we turn our audio on, it's on the whole time, so. But okay, I was like, whatever. So we go and take this photo, this amazing photo after everybody is like done up and everything. All the girls are so friendly. It just seems so natural and so they just welcome me like I've been there, you know what I'm saying? And we start talking and everything's all good. But I'm so nervous, y'all. Like so nervous. And it's about time to go. I see one of the other folks FaceTiming someone and I'm like, all right, let me FaceTime my piece. So I FaceTime him and I'm like, after we take the picture, the girls are walking out and I'm like, I'm nervous. And I think like Angelique turns around and she's like, you're nervous? Don't be nervous. You'll do just fine. Like all of this other stuff. Also, they weren't familiar with me. So I showed them some of my recap and she was like, you know, you'll be fine. Like da-da-da. And I was like, okay. And I talked to him and I'm like, I'm so nervous. Like I know my heart is beating out of my chest. Like they probably had to turn the mics down in the back. That's how loud it was beating. And the mic is like right here on me, which is my chest. And he says to me, don't be nervous. You are literally doing what you do every week on your couch in front of cameras. What is there to be nervous about? And I said, oh shit, I'm doing what I do on my couch. And he was absolutely right. And so we had maybe a couple more minutes. I go into my dressing room. I don't know where Nicole is at that point. But y'all, I go in my dressing room and I full on pray. But y'all, I hit this Lord Jesus prayer, this thank you for bringing me here, this help me to show up and show out, to take advantage of this opportunity, to be who you have me to be. Lord, this prayer was it. And then it was time to walk on set. As we get on set, they're like, oh, Rizzo, we want you to sit here. I was totally fine, because remember, y'all, I'm used to doing my recaps on my own. So none of this shit fazed me. And so we get there and I'm thinking I'm like running my questions through. I'm like looking at my phone like, oh, what questions did I have for people? We watched the kickoffs. We watched the matchmaking special, obviously, to prepare for this, right? So I'm like, oh yeah, let me remember people's names and this, that, and the other, all this other stuff. Also, please know that I made a video for my first looks, which I'm gonna post, next week. But I made a video for my first looks, and you're gonna know that it was before the kickoff special. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But yeah. So you know me. Anytime that I am nervous about anything, the thing that calms my nerves is joking. Because then I'm like, that's what I do. If I can get people to laugh, if I can relate to someone on something, like, oh, you like this, I like this, it gets me more natural. And nothing is more natural than a laugh, a good human laugh. And if I'm the person to give that to you, then I know we are set. And so in my mind, I say, all right, all I have to do is get out there and start with a laugh. And what I did, I got out there and I started with a laugh, and it calmed me for most of the show. Okay, so it's not quite calmed me for most of the show, but calmed me down. If I was at a 10, I was definitely at a 12, y'all. My heart was beating. I was at a 12. It brought me at least back down to a 6. I should be at a 1 because I does this, but I at least got down to a 6, and that was manageable for me. And then, my heartbeat. So then, like I said, this is the part where they bring out the participants from past seasons. And so, Kevin is coming around and asking us all these questions, and they're doing it in order. So I'm always the last one. And people ask my questions before me, and I was like, oh, I'm not prepared for this. My brain is going a mile a minute. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to stumble or stutter. So I'm like, all I got is my questions. So then by the time they get to I think Emily was next to me. Angelique was next to me. I know my heart started beating so fast. And I'm like, I already know that the audio guys can tell when I have something to say. And I feel like every time I had something to say and my heart was beating, Kevin would ask me a question, because I'm like, are they talking in his ear? Or when the contestant was here, the participant was here, I'm like, oh my God, they know I'm super nervous. But for the most part, I don't think I showed that after a while. I hope not. I really am interested to see how this is edited, how I'll be portrayed. If they like me, if I know you guys who are used to me like me, but if new people will like my personality, I wouldn't change it, but it's just gonna be so interesting to see. Also, there was a point where, I wonder if they're gonna put this in, there was a point where Kevin was introducing all of us, and he goes, Married at First Sight fan Donna Rizzo, creator of the YouTube channel From Rizzo With Love. He said that, I was like, wait a minute. I don't want everybody to think I'm Married at First Sight fan, like the page. I don't know if this is gonna make it, but when he said that, I remember my face goes, I literally did that. So pay attention to see if that's there. What are the other things? Also, pay attention. I've been lifting a lot, so I cut my nails off. I just put press-ons on. One of my fake nails popped off at 2 different points. So there's a point where you'll see me sitting like this, because I think it was my thumb, or other points you'll see me sitting like this. It's because my nails popped off during the segment, and I'm like, I can't yell cut. And I'm like, where's my nail? Another moment that was cool that I'm not sure if they're gonna show is when one of the old participants comes out, because they don't know who's going to be here, right? They don't know that I'm the 4th person. We don't interact with them beforehand. They come out and they're like, oh my God, I love you. And I was like, I love you too. In my mind, I'm saying, can we be best friends? And then there was another person that I'm like, she looking at me a little funny. Does she know who I am? And then later she tells me that she knows who I am. So those were cute little moments, validation, maybe brought me down to a 5 instead of a 6. But I think I felt really at home. You know, it wasn't my big moment, because I remember even during segments, I was like, how am I doing? To the other ladies, like, are you okay? Do you feel like I'm cutting you off? Like, you'll never have to tell me to speak up, because I always have something to say, but you may have to pull me back. Because like I said, I'm so used to doing this alone. And they were like, no, you're doing great. This is great. Like, welcome to the family. They were so inviting. So I had a really good time. I'm super excited to see how the edits go. I was going to do a watch party. Well, one of my friends asked me to do a watch party, but the way this Omicron, whatever it's called, Omicron virus is popping up, especially in New York, I don't even know if I can do that. So it may just be like me and like 2 friends or something. But super excited. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. Like the process, y'all, it was a 14-hour, we were there for 14 hours. Okay. Like I said, we got there at 7:30. No, that's not true. Probably 12 hours. Maybe we got there at 7:15. We left at like 7. I don't even remember, but it was dark and it was late and I was still on East Coast time. I was sweating through my stuff. It was cool though. It was a great opportunity that I'm super grateful for. I would love to do more. It really helped me to like get my name, my face out there to a broader audience. It let me know that what I was doing is right. I am on the right path. And it makes me just hungry for more. I will tell you, this is a 1-show contract that I got. So if you guys want to see more of me, go to the Married at First Sight Insider page, because I think what they're trying to do is see how the audience will receive me. So this is flashing, which lets me know I need to stop. But yeah, you know, this died down, so here we are. I'm hoping that it goes well, that you guys really like me, that I make you guys proud. Oh yeah, I moved into my other place. Did I tell y'all? I finally moved. This is boxes all around, like, it's crazy. I'm super excited. I hope they did not like bad edit me. And I hope they asked me to come back. I think if you guys like engage with them a lot, y'all did y'all shit on that post. Come on, I ain't never had nothing shared that much. Big ups to y'all. Thank you for those moments and just like letting me know how much of an inspiration I am for you guys too, because oh Lord, this is work. And trust me, if you do work, 3 years, y'all, 3 years for 3 generations, I promise it will change for you. So make sure you guys watch December 30th on Lifetime. I don't know the exact time. I'm gonna say 8 o'clock. 7? I don't know. I'll let y'all know. But yeah, this was super exciting. Let them know that you want me back, because I want to go back. And that you want me to speak for you guys, because so many of you say, I feel like you are my voice from my couch. And yeah, let's do this, y'all. Let's let this year 3 hit and take over and go up from here. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for your support. I know I would not be here without the support of you guys, because you guys share it with friends, you like, you comment, you follow, you subscribe to my YouTube. And honestly, all of that has helped me get these other eyes on me to do something like this. So I super appreciate it. I can't wait to do this season with you guys. I will be recapping just like I do in other seasons. I won't be doing the matchmaking, obviously, because my recap will be on television. But yeah, y'all, I'm excited. Season 14. Let's go. Bye.